So hi guys, in this video we are going to create the bunkers. So in the original game, besides the player on the bottom and invaders on top, we have 4 bunkers along the game screen. Let me show you here. So we have like these 4 bunkers where the player can take cover behind the bunkers to protect himself from the missiles. And the bunkers are destroyed by either the invader missiles and the player lasers. So we are going to implement these bunkers and deal also with taking damage and destroying the bunkers. Now, the first thing that we need to see is that the bunkers are basically a grid of tiles. You can see here, that's why I have this like this, because the bunkers are not a complete sprite. And why we can't use a complete sprite? Because we need to detect the collision on the different tiles and destroy only that tile, because otherwise we would be detecting a collision with the entire bunker and just destroying random parts of the bunker until it was completely destroyed. And that's not how the game actually works, because you even have like some strategies and some players use where they place themselves behind the bunker and just destroy, for example, these ones in the middle. Destroy, for example, one of these rows here in the middle, and they can be like more protected behind the bunker and just keep shooting from this row. So we cannot have the bunker as an entire sprite, but instead we need to create the bunker from different tiles in a way that we can detect the collision with each tile and destroy each tile when they are hit by the lasers or the missiles. So you can see it here that I have all the tiles here put together, as we are going to instantiate them in the game. And for the bunker we have a lot of tiles actually, because we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 5 different types of tiles. You can see them here, and each one of them has 4 states. Yeah, so the default one, when they take 1 damage, 2 damage, 3 damage, and at the end, when they have like 4 hits, the tile is completely destroyed. So first we are going to import all these tiles into the game, and just like we are doing everything else, we're going to have like a single sprite with all these tiles, and then from that single sprite we are going to create all the bunkers. So it's going to be all in code. So all of this that you can see here, we are going to start with this sprite here on the bottom, and from this sprite only we are going to create every bunker that we have on the game. So first let's start by implementing the sprites here. Okay, so upload a new sprite, and let's go here, sprites, and I have it here, bunker 0001, blah blah blah. So we have like 19 sprites. Yeah, I'm gonna import, yeah, it's 19. Shouldn't be like 20. Oh yeah, they are 20, yeah, sorry. I say like 19 sprites. No, it's not 19, they are 20 sprites because it starts at 0. My mistake. So yeah, we have like 5 different types of sprites times 4 states. So yeah, 20 sprites. We can import. Oh, never mind. My mistake. You cannot import all the sprites in one go, which is, I understand why, but basically you need to import the first one and then import all the other ones on the costumes. That was my mistake, so don't make the same. So import only the first one, and now on the costumes we can import the rest of the sprites. So number 1 to number 19. And yes, so we have all the sprites here. And since we are going to be creating like this grid of tiles, we are also create the empty sprites. So we also need a costume for an empty sprite, and we are also going to use that costume for when we are destroying each one of the sprites. The last state, when it gets 4 of damage, we are going to change the costume to be completely empty. So besides all the sprites, we also need to create a new one, and if we paint a new sprite, which is an empty one. So I'm just gonna change the name to empty. Here, empty, which is an empty sprite, and okay. Now let's select the first one so we can actually see the sprite on screen. And now the first thing we are going to do is position the initial sprite from where we are going to generate all the others. So, and the initial sprite is going to be this one on the bottom left corner. So let's see the position of the sprite according to the layout. So it's at 42 units from the bottom, 62 units from the left. And now we need to remember, because I made this mistake the last time with the invaders, that our sprite has 12 by 12 of size, width and height. And so basically we need to add 6 to each one of the dimensions that we are seeing here, because the position of the sprite in Scratch is actually in the middle. So this is 66, which is like, sorry, 72 from the left edge, and this is like minus 240. I don't want to be doing the math right now, so 240 minus 72, we have like 168, so it's going to be at 168 units from the left, and we can already position it on the correct place. So it's going to be at minus 168, yeah, 168 from the left. And from the bottom, let me see, we have 180, we have 180, so 48, right? 42, yeah, 48, so we're gonna have 180 minus 48. So 132 from 132? Yeah, 132 from the bottom. So, and here we're gonna have minus 132. And so the initial sprite is gonna start here. And now we can use this sprite and create clones to generate all the others. Let me see here. Okay. And now how are we going to generate the others? So basically what we have here is a grid of tiles. We have a grid with 4 columns by 3 rows. And that's what we're going to do. So we're going to take this sprite and we're going to add some force like we did with the invaders. And we're going to repeat, okay, I'm going to repeat 4 times to get each one of these columns. And inside each column, I'm going to repeat 3 times to get each one of the rows. So we can start by adding, when the green flag is clicked, because we are going to generate all the invaders right at the beginning, the bunkers, right when the game starts. So when the green flag is clicked, we are going to repeat this 4 times, and then inside we are going to repeat 3 times, which means we are going to repeat 4 times to have the 4 columns, and inside each column we are going to repeat 3 times to have the rows. Now, when we do this, we create a clone of myself. So we are going to be creating clones of the tiles. And then when we start as a clone, we need to actually position the tile on the correct place. And a way to know the correct place is by using the column number and the row number. So basically we can see here that each tile has 12 by 12, and the tiles are all connected together, not like here. Here they are 1 unit apart, but they will be 0 units apart, which means that each tile is at 12 units from each other, either in the x-axis or the y-axis. So we are going to be changing the position of each tile by 12 units on each one of the axes. And here we have basically a system of coordinates. So let me just take this one to show you guys. So we have this, I'm going to put this smaller. So this first tile is at the coordinate of 0, 0. Oh, I cannot, let me just lock this, yeah. So this tile is at the coordinates of 0, 0, so it's on the 0 column and the 0 row. And I'm going to start with 0, 0, not 1, 1, because I think it's easier to start with 0 with indexes. Usually at indexes it's easier, and also I'm most used to, and it's something that whoever is going to learn how to program needs to start thinking at starting stuff from 0, because arrays, list, everything starts from 0. Actually not here in Scratch, but usually that's the way that it works. So we have 0, 0. This one would be at column 0 but row number 1, and this one would be at column 0 row number 2. And now we have all this. I'm just gonna duplicate all this here, here, here. So this one is column number 1, number 1, column number 2, number 2 and number 2. I'm just doing all this because we are going to need it to actually change the tiles to the correct image according to the position where they are at. So this is what we have. Columns. So it starts here, starts at 0, 0, and ends at column number 3 and row number 2. Remember that when we are starting the indexes from 0, the last numbers, I mean, it's always equal to the length minus 1. So if we start we have 4 columns, the last column we have the index of 3, I mean 4 minus 1, and if we have 3 rows, the last row is going to end at 3 minus 1, which is 2. And so this is what we have. And we are going to be changing the position of the tiles according to these coordinates, which means that, for example, we start with this one, and if we are iterating through the columns and the rows, so after this one, we are going to have this tile, and this tile is basically at the X position is going to be 12 times 0, because it doesn't change the X position, it's in the same column, and the Y position is going to be 12 times 1 because it's on the first row, and it's the same, so it's going to be the X won't change and the Y is going to change by 12 times 2. And so basically what we need here in a way to generate these tiles and place them in the correct position is to have variables to indicate on which column we are and on which row that we are. So let's create those variables here. So we are going to create variables, make a variable, and we are going to create variables for all sprites because we need to access these sprites. No, actually, once again, I'm making the mistake, because if we change the row number, we are not going to change the row number and the column number inside the clones. So actually, we don't need to, the variables don't need to be private, I think. I always make mistakes with this, sorry guys, but this is really confusing for me, because in a way they can be global. Yeah, they can be global variables. I mean, we only have but in a way we can also change. Yeah, I'm just thinking, because if we are not changing the column number and the row number inside, if we are not changing column number and the row number inside the clones, usually they can be global, because each clone doesn't need to have its own. And when the clone is created, the variable is going to use the original value that we have. So we are going to create global ones, and we will see. So this one is the column index for all sprites, and we are going to get a new one, which is the row index, and it's also a variable for all sprites. So we have these two variables, and now before we start doing anything, we need to set the variables always to 0. So remember, because otherwise each time we're going to start the program and reset the program, the value is just going to keep incrementing. So we're going to set the column index to 0 and the row index also to 0. And now what happens is that when we are repeating inside this for block, this repeat block, when we are repeating at the end of the block, we are going to change the row number by 1, because here is where we are actually iterating through the rows. So here we are going to change at the end of the second repeat block, we are going to change the row index by 1, because it means that we are incrementing inside the rows. And when we finish the outer block, I mean the repeat for block, we are going to change the column number by 1. The column index by 1, sorry. So, and now that we have, when the clone starts, it's going to have the correct call index and the row index. And when I say the correct one, I mean these values that we have here. And so now we are going to use these values to position the sprite on the correct place. And we already see that basically what we need to do is to multiply the call number and the row number, the call index and the row index by 12 to position the sprite accordingly. So when I start as a clone, what we are going to do is to set the position of the clone, and let's say change. So we are going to change X by, and we are going to multiply, like I said, so x is the column, so we are going to multiply the call index, is it? Yeah, by 12. So it's going to, yeah, it's going to move to the right, and we are going to change, no, not the x, and we are going to change the y by, and here I can duplicate this, by the row index, and in this case by 12. Yes, because we are going up and not down. Yeah, by 12. Let's see. No, we are doing something wrong. Why is that? Because, so it's actually changing it's actually changing the positions, the column, I mean in the x, and it's changing the y, but it's not resetting the y. Oh yeah, we are not resetting the row index, because if we are changing the row index inside this for block, when we finish repeating this, we need to set the row index back to 0. Or otherwise, when we start, before starting the block of the rows, we need to set, not change, sorry, wait, not change, but set the row index, and I'm going to duplicate this here. And we are going to set the row index to 0, and only then, because we are going to change here, what will happen is that we are all constantly incrementing the row index. So we had like row index 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We need to reset it each time we change the column. And now, yep, and we still don't have it perfectly. Why? Because, so we have like 1, 2, 3, and 4. Yeah, so this first one, the row index by 1, the column index by 1, and we are putting column index here. So, oh, this one, it shouldn't be here. Yeah, okay. Oh, we need to show, and yeah, we need to show the tiles, because we are not, also because we are hiding the original one. So I'm going to hide here the original one, and we need to show the clones. And yes, this is what we want, I believe. But the tile should be on the position of the original one and not after it. Why? So why is this happening? Because row index by 1, create clone of myself, it's going to change y by row index. Yeah, basically what it's doing is that it's changing the position in the y for the first tile, and it shouldn't be doing that. Yeah, because the row index, sorry, let me see what's happening here. Yeah, we'll call index 4. Oh yeah, it's the last one, so it's not ending because we are already incrementing, but then the repeat block ends. So set column index to 0, set row index to 0, repeat 4, so set row index to 0. We start at 0, so when we create a clone, the row index is 0, 0 by 12 times 12 is 0, and the column by 12 is also 0. Let me just see why is this happening? Yeah, this shouldn't be happening. Because the column index and the row index should be, you see, if I just repeat one, so let's say that we have one column and one row, what happens? It's always starting. Row index, column index. Yeah, one. So, and the bunker is starting at 180, 136. Oh, maybe this wasn't the value that we were looking for. Let me see again. Sorry. Let me see. So basically, we saw before that we had, I think the initial one is the one that's not placed correctly. So we had, not this one. I want to have the one that I blocked. Here, let's get out of the way. And let me see. So we have 42, 42, 48. 48, this was like 180, right? Not mistaken. Yeah, 48. So 180 minus 48, we are 132. Yeah, okay, that's the problem, I think. Yeah, because it's starting at 136. No, 132. And the other one was, I don't remember, 66 or 72. And it was like 240 minus 72. And it's starting at 168. So, yeah, I don't know what happened. Yeah, I don't know why we changed. Because I dragged the, the tile, right? No, I don't know. So first of all, let's make sure that the original tile is on the correct position before we start doing the other ones. So now if I run this, 168, 132, yeah. Oh, shit, why is this also? Okay, guys, this is really strange because I'm using the call index to 0. Yeah, I'm using the call index to 0, row index to 0. I'm repeating, I created the clone. So this one should be 0 also. Yeah. Because if I take this, oh, I know what's happening. I know what's happening, guys. Yeah, once again, it's the all sprites or only for this sprite problem. What's happening here is that when I start as a clone, it's only being called at the end of this. At the end of this. So what this means, I'm going to leave this part of the video because these kind of errors are sometimes useful to explain what might happen when you are thinking and um, and things don't go as the way you were expecting to. So what's happening here, and once again, it's the same problem, is that because we are using the variables for all sprites, which that means that when we create the clone, we change immediately the row index and the call index by 1. And only then, when I started the clone is being called. And I was assuming that this was called when we ran the block here. And only then, afterwards, this would run the rest. But this is not like create clone of myself and wait, like we had on some blocks. So actually, when we are starting as a clone, the call index and the row index have already been incremented because these blocks were already ran before. So what we are going to do here, once again, is just change this to old, and I'm going to change this to old as well, and we're going to create new variables. So call index, and this time we are going to create a call index for this sprite only, and we are going to create also the row index for this sprite only. And now we are going to change all these variables. So this is a call index, this is the row index, and just change it to the new ones, and this will solve the problem. So this is a call index, and this is the row index, and then you can just delete the old ones. So yeah, it didn't give any warning, so it means that it's not being used anywhere else. And now if we start, yeah, so now it's okay because we don't have an extra tile, which means that the original tile is on the position of the first one. And so now we can just go back to generate the grid, and now it's perfect, yeah. So this is what we want. And so the problem was that if we use all sprites, when we were starting as a clone, the value was already changed. But when we use a variable for this sprite only, it means that the value of the call index and the row index for the clone will assume the value that the variable had at the time that the clone was created. So when we increment the values here, it don't actually will have any effect on the values that we have on the clone. No, this is it. Now we have the tiles for the bunker. So the bunker is created. Now what we need to do is to change the tile according to the position. So we're going to need to change the tile type according to the position inside of the each tile. And here initially I used a tile type, but I don't think we need to create a tile type, because we can just use the damage. And basically what we are going to do is check when we are going to use each type of each image of the tiles. So we can see that maybe we can get you're going to make all tiles by default to be the empty ones, which will get these two ones here, and then we are going to change the tiles, or maybe not the empty ones, maybe we can make the default ones, yeah, because we have a lot of these ones. Like the default ones we have like 6 times. You can see like these 6 ones are the default ones, so you only need to worry about changing this tile and this tile and these 2 tiles and these ones. So first of all, let's change this one, because we only have one of these tiles. So this tile, basically, we're going to set this costume when the row number is equal to 2 and the column number is equal to 0. And I'm going to do it inside here. Yeah, so if, and we can change it here. So if, and now we need an AND condition, because we're going to be comparing both the column and the row index. So if the call number, the call index is equal to, and we are dealing with this one, so if the call index is equal to 0, and the row index is equal to number 2, which is this one, yeah, we're going to switch the costume to that tile. So we're going to switch the costume to, and let's see, what is that costume? It's a costume number 5. So switch the costume to bunker. Oh, I just imported 0, 0, 0, 0. You didn't assume the names that I had. Bunker 2, bunker 3. Okay. So switch costume to, we're not going to use this, so switch costume to costume number, because we are not going to use the name. No. Backdrop number size. Now we are going to switch the costume to backdrop. Now we actually need to change the names. It didn't assume the names that I had before. I don't know why. I was expecting, let me see. Not this one here. Let me see if I upload the costumes. Bunker 00, 01, 02. Oh no, I had the names mistaken. Yeah, I had the names all in sequence, and this is really hard to see this way, but we can use, so it's bunker 04. I'm not going to be renaming now the costume, so it's bunker 04. Let's see. Okay, so we have that corner. It's correct. Now we can do the other one, so it's 3 and 2, so we are going to duplicate this. So column index equals to 3 and row index equals to 2, and the costume is going to be, let me see, bunker 08. If you have the proper names before importing, it will help a lot. Bunker 08. So we probably have the other one. Yep, correct. And now we're going to do also these ones. So this is 11. If it's 11, it's going to have the costume. Which one is that? Costume bunker 12. Going to have the bunker 12. And if it's the other one, which is 2-1, yeah, of course. If it's 2-1, you're going to have the costume bunker 16. The bunker 16, let's just see. Yep, and now we need to set these other 2 ones to get the empty sprite. So these 2 ones are 10 and 20. So if column index equals to, which one was? 10 and 20, to 1, and row index to 0. And now we can add an OR condition, because we are going to have this, and we are going to repeat it. So if column index equals to 1 and row index equals to 0, or column index equals to 2 and row index equals to 0 is when we change the sprite to be the empty one. And here I have the correct name, I believe. Yeah, empty. And now we have the bunker. Yeah, this is it. So now we have the bunker. Okay, now we need the other 3 bunkers. Now we need to take this one that we just created here and create all the rest of the bunkers right here. So now what we need to see is if we are positioning, and now I can see that my bunkers are not aligned. You can see it here. Yeah, I don't know why, but I know, because these ones I added the space of 1 between all these rows. But never mind, because the only thing that we need is the position between, or the distance between the sprites. So we end at this sprite when we finish creating the bunker. Our original tile, our original sprite is going to be on the first position. Yeah, this is what we need, because the original sprite, we are going to create each bunker from the original sprite, which is the one that we are running here. So this is the original sprite, the one that is at 168, minus 168, minus 132. What we need to do to create the other bunkers is to change the position of this sprite to the initial sprite of the next bunker, and then the other one, and then the other one. So what we need to see here is the distance between our original sprite, let me take this one here, and the one from the other bunker. But the original sprite here, so it says that the distance is 91. It says that the distance is 91, but this once again is between the edges, I mean the right edge of the first sprite and the left edge of the new bunker. So basically what we need, if we have 12 by 12, we need to add 12 to this distance, because we are actually going to be distancing them from the center of this one and the center of this one. So we need to add the 6 units that go from the edge to the center, and the 6 units that come from this center to the edge. So here we have, how much was it? 91? Yeah, 91 plus 12, so it's 101, 103. And that's what we are going to use, and let's see. And how are we going to use this, and how can we just keep repeating all these bunkers? So basically what you need to do is to repeat this whole process of generating the clones of the tiles 4 more times, or 3 more times. So we're going to repeat 4 in total. So let's just add a new block around all this, and we are going to repeat these 4 because we have 4 bunkers. And at the end of generating an entire bunker, we need to change the position of the original sprite by what was the math? The number 103? No. Yeah, by 103, I think. And let's just see. And now we can hide this one because we want the original one. And yes, now we have the bunkers, I believe, but they are not centered with the player. So my math didn't go well once again. And why is that? Yeah, math is not correct. Okay, let me see, because they are not centered. You can see that the distance between the player and this one is not the same between the player and this one. So let me see what happened. So this is, yeah, we are changing it by 91. On my original project I had like 94, but now, to be honest, I don't see why. Or maybe these ones are not in the right position, which, yeah. Okay, these ones are not in the right position, so maybe I'm not starting the original sprite is not starting in the right position. That was my mistake. So let me see if I just, I don't think it says this has any. I'm just taking the distance between all the sprites. Okay, and now we have the bunkers, and I'm going to just center the bunkers. Okay, now the bunkers are properly centered on screen. And let me see again the position of this one. Yeah, the position of the first one is not correct. So let me see what we have. 44 plus 6, we have 50. So 130, it's going to start at 130, and it's going to start at No, the X position is actually the same. Okay. Oh, but okay, let me see. So this is not 130. This is 130, and not 240. No, yeah, and this one here is where we need to change it and go to. I'm just gonna start it here, so it just goes back to 168, 130, which is correct. 168, yeah, it's correct because it was the same value that we had before. And this one, okay, 88. Yeah, I was doing the math wrong. Why? Why? Because this shouldn't be. Oh, because I have these units and these ones were at 1 unit apart from each one of the columns, so I had a different value that I wanted. So I had like 88, and it is 88 plus 12. 88 plus 12, yeah, 100. So here it's not 103, it should be 100. I'm not convinced yet. Yeah, now it is correct. Yes. So this is it about creating the bunkers and positioning the bunkers on the correct place. And now we are going to deal also with making damage to the bunkers. Like I said before, each bunker tile has 4 sprites, 4 images. So the default one, and then another one that's a little bit destroyed, another one which is a little bit more, this one, and afterwards we're going to change the bunker to the empty sprite. And so basically for this, what we need is first of all to detect the collision with the missiles and the laser cannon, the player laser. So we already know how to do it. So let's do it here. When I start as a clone, and now we are going to be checking forever for the collisions. And if, let me see if I can, no, I only need an if. So if, and now we need a NOR condition because we are, if we touch the missile or we touch the laser, and touching, and we have touching the laser or touching the missile, we are going to destroy or make damage to the tile. And now that we are making damage to the tile, we need a way to know how much damage we have before we need to manually change the tile we need to change the tile to the empty one. So we need a way to, if we need a way to know the current damage, we need a variable to know the current damage. So let's create a variable, let's make a variable, and we're going to call it bunker damage for this sprite only, and this is I'm sure of this one because each sprite is going to have its own bunker damage. So this time I'm not making a mistake. So for bunker damage for this sprite only, as always, when we start as a clone, we need to reset the bunker damage. Let's not forget about that. And now each time the bunker gets hit, we are going to change the bunker damage by 1. So you're going to increment the bunker damage. And each time we increment the bunker damage, we are going to change the sprite of the tile. And basically what we can do the next costume, which says that, okay, we are on this one, we get 1 of damage, we go to this one, 2 of damage to this one, 3 of damage to this one, and when we get to 4 of damage, we need to go to the empty sprite. And so if touching, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so here, if we need an if condition to know that if the bunker damage is equal to 4, then we change to the empty sprite. So if the bunker damage is equal, I'm going to use the bunker damage to 4, means we reach the max amount of damage that the tile can have. We switch the costume to empty. That's correct. So we change next costume, and we can do it. Yeah, probably we can just do it. We should do actually an if then else. So if bunker damage is equal to 4, we switch to costume. Otherwise, we just go to the next costume. And we can use it here. And now we need to also add another thing, because we won't be running this forever. We only need to run this while the bunker damage is less than 4. I mean, as soon as the bunker damage is equal to 4, then we can stop running this. And so forever, and we have this block which is stop, and we can stop this script. So because otherwise it would still work, it wouldn't work actually, because we are using the equal to 4, so we would be still incrementing the damage, and if we increment the damage, then the bunker would not be equal to 4, it would be 5, 6, 7, and then we would continue using the next costume. So if we stop the script at this part, it should probably work. And now let's see. Okay, but it's destroying a lot. Yeah, it's destroying a lot. And why is that? I mean, it's working, but it's destroying all the sprites in a row, because at this time the missile and the laser are not detecting the collision with the bunker. So we also need to add that to the missile and the laser. So let's go to the laser first, and we are all gonna destroy if this happens, or this happens, or if it's also touching the bunker. So we need another OR condition. Put it here. So if the Y position is, or touching the invader, or if it's touching the bunker, then the laser destroys, and also for the missile. So yeah, exactly the same thing. No, not duplicate. So I'm gonna put this here, this one here, and touching the player or touching the bunker, and just gonna drag this here. But mistake. These blocks get really big, so yeah. Let's try once again. And yeah, now we are destroying. And you see that since it destroys, it gets empty, and then it just disappears. And it's also being destroyed by the invader missiles on the top. And yeah, this is it. So now we have the bunkers working, and yeah, all good. So we can go to the next video, and on the next video, let me see what we are going to do. Oh, the next one is really simple. I don't know if I'm gonna leave this for the end or not, but yeah, the last one, the next one is just creating the ground floor. You know, in the original game, you have. Oh, I don't have it here. I don't know why. But we have a line at the bottom that when it gets hit by the missiles, it just destroys. I mean, but it just goes from this right to this one. So I don't know if I'm going to do it on the next one or the last one. We'll see. So I'll see you on the next video. Thanks.